All right, we are starting this morning off in Bangor, where several hundred supporters of Vice President J.D. Vance got together yesterday to welcome him as he touched down in Bangor in Air Force Two. Yeah, among those supporters, 6 of the Republican candidates who are currently running for governor in Maine. They heard Vance not only rally Republicans behind the Trump administration's agenda, but also for U.S. House candidate and former Governor Paul LePage. He is running unopposed in the Republican primary for the 2nd congressional district seat that's being vacated by Democrat Jared Golden. But the main focus of Vance's 30-minute speech was the fraud task force that he leads, investigating federally funded, state-administered programs like MaineCare, which is our version of Medicaid. Its 2026 budget is $4.7 billion this year, $3 billion in federal funding. The administration pointed to $2 million in alleged overbilling by one non-government organization owned by some Somali immigrants and a potential $45 million in overbilling for autism services.
This woman, her name. And oh, by the way, what happened to the autistic children and their families who actually need those services and need a competent government to ensure that they're doing the right thing? My friends, this has gone on for far too long. You have been fleeced by your own government for far too long, and we are stopping it every single day.
Now, Vance said that Maine could be the bronze medalist when it comes to fraud after California and Minnesota, obviously much larger states with more proven cases of improper billing and fraud. We did ask him how that could be with just 2 examples in Maine. And Vance said that those cases might be just the tip of the iceberg, and he was hoping for greater cooperation with the state on future probes. In response, Governor Mills told us that her administration does hold Medicaid service providers to license requirements, as well as high standards of care and accountability.
While Vice President Vance spoke at BIA, there were a few dozen people across the street protesting, including a number of Democrats running for office. Gubernatorial candidate Shanna Bellows showed up, along with Matt Dunlop and Jordan Wood, who are running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. The group condemned a number of Trump administration policies, including ICE tactics, the war in Iran, and access to reproductive health care. When asked about fraud, Bellows and Dunlop said that they don't believe it's a widespread issue in our state.
When fraud occurs, we will catch it and we will hold the perpetrators accountable. But to target an entire state, to make threats just in the name of a few bad actors to punish the rest of us is absurd.
To sort of portray this as a widespread systemic problem really just affords them the excuse to shut that funding off to people who actually need it so they can use it for other things that don't do anything to help working families.
One protester we talked to said that they do think fraud needs to be addressed if it's uncovered, but targeting blue states specifically is a problem.
Officials with the city of Portland are preparing for an event today hosted by Calvary Chapel Greater Portland and Turning Point USA. Church leaders say the event will be entirely faith-based, featuring a mix of church and Turning Point speakers. They say they've been working with Portland Parks and Rec staff as well as the PD to ensure proper safety measures are taken for the event. More than 20 faith-based organizations will be holding an alternative event in response, arguing that Turning Point USA consistently spreads hate toward immigrants and transgender people. Church staff say that's not what this is about.
The misrepresentation that has taken place, that this is some sort of political event, anti-anything, it is not that. The real disagreement would be with the Bible.
The golden rule, love your neighbor, it shows up in every faith tradition, every major religion, every world religion. And we want to really live into that. And we think
officials with the city of Portland and the Portland Police Department declined to go into specifics of what kind of assistance that they're providing for the event, but they did release a statement saying we continuously assess information, coordinate with our public safety partners, and make appropriate preparations based on the needs of each event, end quote. All right, last night we had our Voice of the Voter debate with the 5 candidates in the Democratic primary for Maine governor.
Our moderators asked them about housing, education, and how exactly they plan to pay for the extensive programs some candidates are proposing. Our Christian Harsa was watching the debate and has the highlights.
Tonight you're going to hear from all 5 Democratic candidates for governor.
And all 5 are vying for the votes of Mainers on June 9th, hoping to prove they are the best to lead the state.
I have a lot of experience with budgets.
All 5 candidates want to make improvements to Maine's programs, primarily paid through tax increases.
Those who can pay more should pay more.
The recently approved millionaire's tax was a crowd favorite.
And I would double the millionaire's tax from what the legislature already has done. I think 4% is a much fairer way.
Taxing tourists is also on the table. All but Shanabello said on stage they support seasonal tax increases just during the summer.
But I don't know that I need more information on how other states do that.
Angus King III and Nirav Shah said they support increasing the lodging tax, but stopped short of endorsing more sales or meals taxes.
Both of those also place additional burden on Maine people who are going out to eat or just buying things.
One tax the candidates don't like: property taxes. They propose increasing the state's homestead exemption, currently $25,000. Some want to do even more, higher taxes for the second homes of out-of-staters.
It would require us to open up our state constitution. But as I travel the state of Maine, I talk to Republicans and Democrats and independents who are frustrated.
Over the course of the debate, the candidates proposed spending hundreds of millions on state programs, such as Medicare and housing. Universal child care specifically, Shanabello said, would cost $400 million.
We're already spending some of these costs on health care and child care and other ways. And we're seeing it in the fact that young people are not staying in our state.
King, conversely, didn't offer up large spending plans.
I'm trying to be as careful as I can be, not making financial promises during this campaign, because I think we're all going to have to tighten our belts in the future, given the cuts that are coming from the feds.
In less than a month, these 5 Democrats will be competing once again on the June 9th ballot. In Portland, Christian Harsa, News Center, Maine.